Hey everybody, welcome to a quick hit of Kingdom of Honor. I'm your host, Sandman Shane Sweeney, with my good buddy, the Honorable Jeff.
Hello.
And there's a couple interesting things going on in pro wrestling today, so we thought we would do just a quick show today, and then we'll do our full show on Monday. And Jeff, Rampage was last night. What'd you think?
I thought it was the best TV match and probably the best opening match on Dynamite history since Rey Fenix versus Nick Jackson. That Christian Cage, Kenny Omega.
It was not the best opening match in Dynamite history. It was Rampage.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. AEW's televised history. The best. I think it's still hard to top that Nick Jackson Rey Fenix match, but
Right.
This came damn close. And it's by far the best TV match I've seen of 2021.
Well, I would probably put this just slightly above the Nick Jackson versus Rey Fenix match, simply because there was a title on it, right? I mean, it was you and I both love both Nick Jackson and Rey Fenix. I think Rey Fenix is the best professional wrestler on the planet. But the thing, as far as in ring, I mean, obviously, he doesn't speak great English, so it's hard to say about his promos. But as far as in ring, Rey Fenix is my favorite wrestler to watch.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I really can't.
But but Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage is two of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. They were wrestling for the Unified Impact World Championship.
Right.
Wrestling for one championship but two belts. on a historic night where a major national wrestling promotion is debuting its second night of programming on a national television network. So I really think that one has to rank just a little bit above the Phoenix versus Jackson match for me because of the stakes involved.
And I like the fact that when they decided to bring the Impact title home, they brought it back to one of the he's very close to being a founding father, because he kind of joined shortly a couple of years after they got their Spike deal, and having Christian be the one to bring the Impact title back to Impact from the evil Kenny Omega, I think was the right call. And we're going to talk on Monday. The show that we release on Monday is going to be we're going to talk a little bit about Christian, where he ranks, and we're thinking about ranking the top the TLC ladder tag team ladder match and ranking those players and where they rank all time. But
I just want to make sure that we're clear on this. Did you say he joined a couple of years after TNA got their Spike deal?
No, it wasn't Spike. I thought he joined. No, he came before they came to Spike.
I was gonna say I think it was a couple of months after this Spike, because they run Fox Sports Net for about a year, right, 2004 to 2005, and then Spike got the deal. Then they started debuting on Spike like September or October of 2005, and then Christian joined like November or December of 2005, right? So I mean, it's only a couple of months after they were Spike that he joined. So he's not. I just wanted to say, I just wanted to make sure, because you said 2 years, and I'm saying no, it was 2 months. So it was like almost right at the beginning of their journey on Spike that he was there. That's why you're calling one of the founding fathers of their national prominence movement, right?
Yeah, but it was officially a couple of years after they debuted. When you look at the founding fathers of TNA, you think of Jarrett, AJ, Jerry Lynn, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Bobby Roode, those.
Sabin.
Yep, Sabin, James Storm, Al Shelley. Those were the founding fathers, and Christian kind of came in right when they started to become national, when they started to become a big deal. So I consider him one of the founding fathers of the national brand.
Right. So if you're gonna take it that way, then you got guys like Team 3D also was on their very first show on Spike TV. That's when Team 3D debuted, and then Rhino was there too. Yep. So
and then Jeff Hardy showed up shortly before Christian did.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when you look at their national, what my point was is they want to keep the Impact title being promoted. Best way to do it is with one of the hottest companies in the world, AEW. But so having Kenny lose it to a TNA founding father, even though he's under an AEW contract, was a smart move, because it kind of brings a little more pride back to TNA and Impact, but at the same time, it keeps that belt visible on one of the hottest wrestling programs of all time that's in the world right now.
I did think it was a missed opportunity for Impact, though, in the sense that Scott D'Amore came out there and gave Christian a big hug and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Which was great. And having their world title on a national program, and actually the second time it's been defended in a TNA or in a Dynamite ring, even though this was the first time actually on an AEW ring. I mean, but this, even though it's the first time it was actually on AEW programming, was defended. But I did think it was a missed opportunity for Scott to be able to go out there and, after giving him a hug, say, and you'll be defending this title next week at Emergence,
right?
On the Impact's Emergence show, because it was originally set to be Kenny defending against whoever won the Battle Royal this past Thursday, which I have not watched yet, but now it'll be Christian in that match.
It'll be Christian, yeah. And the thing about that too is that you mentioned something a couple days ago about how it feels like a missed opportunity. Why is Lance Archer not being talked about on AEW TV? Because he's defending the U.S. heavyweight title, or the U.S. IWGP U.S. title.
Yep, tonight at Resurgence against Tanahashi.
Yep, and then also tonight you've got Kenny defending the Triple A. That was never mentioned on AEW TV either. And I kind of came back. I see the reasoning with it. Is like, why are the AEW announcers going to announce their talent on another show defending the other show's belt? That's up to that promotion. That's up to Triple A. That's up to IWGP or New Japan Wrestling. That's up to them to say, look, we've got this big AEW talent coming to our ring to defend his title on our show. So it's up to them to promote it. It's not up to Tony Schiavone to promote it. But at the same time, last night, Scott D'Amore missed out on a golden opportunity because he is Impact. He's on AEW TV. It's not like it was Tony Schiavone or not Schiavone. I guess he wasn't even there, but like Mark Henry or Excalibur or even Jericho promoting it. It was an Impact talent promoting it. So it's a whole different thing than what we talked about before.
It is. My point we mentioned to you was that, if your partners, right? So,
right.
And really, I mean, we talked about how, AEW, they want to change the world, and they've done that by having all these partnerships with all these other promotions, right? They promoted NJPW wrestlers on their show and Impact wrestlers on their show, the NWA women's title has been defended several times on Dynamite, and even the number one contenders match was on Dynamite last week, and we even saw Camille come out and talk about defending the championship at Power or Empower, and they even promoted the Empower pay-per-views, therefore a little bit on Dynamite. So it's just a bit odd to me they're not also promoting the AAA show, especially.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, where you basically said, well, yeah, it's Kenny versus Andrade, but they don't have any heat really going on right now on Dynamite, so it'd be a little
AEW.
bit on AEW. Yeah, so it'll be a little bit weird for them to promote that match. At the same time, they could have just said, and by the way, he would have raised the stakes for the Impact match, right? Because for the Impact Championship match on Rampage, because they should have said, not only does Kenny have to defend the Impact World title on Rampage, but he's got to turn around less than 24 hours later and defend it in Mexico.
Defend the Triple A. Yep. Yeah. And that's a great segue into what our second topic that we really wanted to discuss today. Tonight, and it's at 6 p.m., right? If I was reading right.
7 Central.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tonight, a major wrestling promotion, one of the world's major wrestling promotions, is having their biggest pay-per-view Like WWE is WrestleMania, AEW is All Out, NJPW is Wrestle Kingdom. Triplemania, that's Triple A's biggest pay-per-view of the year. And it is free on YouTube tonight. So anyone who gets a chance to watch that, you are getting a look at a major promotion giving you a free pay-per-view. You're not paying a monthly subscription. You're not shelling out $50 for it. You're getting a free pay-per-view. And to me, that's huge. And highlighting that pay-per-view is what you just mentioned, Andrade and Kenny Omega. The reason I wanted to discuss this is because we're going to watch it tonight, and tomorrow we're going to know the result. But before it, I want to know what your thoughts are on Kenny just lost the Impact belt to Christian. But he's not really in a feud or even talking to Andrade on AEW TV. Andrade is in a feud with Death Triangle. Kenny is, in a feud with pretty much the rest of the roster. But do they pull the trigger and have Andrade beat Kenny to start his belt collector collapse? Or does he win tonight? Because it would be kind of weird to see Andrade come out there with the AAA championship, knowing that he beat the AEW champion, and we don't even discuss a title match between the two for another year and a half.
It's very interesting, right? Because AAA, they did their what's it called, Rey del Rey's show in June, and now they're doing their the Triplemania show about a couple months before they normally do it. So they're starting to get rolling with their events again a little bit, which would seem to make sense to put the title on Andrade now at this point, to have an actual Mexican, world famous Mexican professional wrestler holding their major championship. So I think it's a great opportunity for them to switch the title to Kenny, who's held it now for over 2 years. Right. since beating Ray Phoenix for it two Triplemanias ago. And I do think Andrade will win the championship. And I do think that will factor into, like you said, like Kenny's belt collapsing, and I think it'll play like really well into Kenny's already paranoid character. Like,
yep.
The walls are crumbling down. I've lost 3 of my 4 belts, 2 of my 3 championships. I'm no longer the belt collector. Just be clutching harder and harder onto that AEW world title, and just like looking behind all corners for his challengers, because he's so paranoid about losing that last championship.
Here's what I would love to see. To put a little bit of doubt in Christian. And because Christian's now got this win over Kenny. He's facing him at All Out. So if we're gonna pull this off, and have Andrade be the champion, he has to face Kenny within the next couple of weeks on Dynamite for the AEW title, and Kenny has to beat him, because then he can go into All Out saying, "Look, man, you messed with the secondary title. This is my main dog. You're not taking this one from me." And it puts it a little more in doubt when you see Andrade beat him and then lose to him a couple of weeks later or a week later.
The only way I guess I would want to see this is because I really would like those two to have like a major a major promoted feud against each other at some point. Would be if Pac somehow interferes in that. If Pac gets involved and he costs Andrade that championship.
I'd rather see him not cost him the championship, because they can easily do hey, I got to win over the AEW champion, so I want a title shot, like they do in Japan all the time. Somebody gets a pin during the New Japan Cup, they get a pin over Okada and in a non-title match, and then they get a title shot. There's no story, there's no build-up, there's nothing, and it's just, hey, there's your reward for getting that pin. It's kind of like what does Ring of Honor do? Where they oftentimes will put a team in a non-title match, and if they win it, then they get a shot. I can't remember, they call it something, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't know. The Dynamite AEW calls it the world title, like a title eliminator match.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, something like that, where if because he got the win, He earned a title shot. He gets his title shot. We don't need a story. And then later on, we can do a story between the two.
No, but I think it would take some steam away from Andrade's feud with Pac if he actually loses before. He's only wrestled like once or twice now on AEW, right? And he's won both those matches. So really,
right.
They're kind of top showing like as it being a big deal and being, kind of untouchable at this point. So I think him losing to Kenny on Dynamite or on Rampage, either one, would just take away from that mystique that he has right now. That's why I'm thinking it would have to be something where some kind of a schmoz where Pac costs him the championship for it to really work.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he doesn't have to go over clean; just needs to go over. And in his egomaniac mind, he can spin that to like, you might have beat me for a secondary champion like Andrade did, but you're not going to beat me for my world belt.
Either way, regardless of who wins tonight between Andrade and Kenny Omega, we're still talking about two of the best wrestlers on the planet facing off each other.
Exactly.
Against each other on a major stage. It's gonna be tremendous tonight.
And it is funny, and I know we were going to do short, so we're going to wrap this up here in a second. But it is funny that a few years ago, 4 years ago, we both thought Andrade was a joke, and then he has that amazing match against Johnny Gargano, and now he's one of the best in the world. Because he's consistently improved throughout. Same thing with Aleister Black. They've just Malachi Black. They've just consistently gotten better and better and better and impressed more and more.
Well, he came out of nowhere. I mean, I think that recently we both thought it was a joke. So we were like, wait, what? This guy beat Drew McIntyre?
Right. Well, because he was a party guy.
Right.
He was a No Way Jose type guy. And then all of a sudden he's the world champion. And it made no sense. And then we saw him perform against Gargano, and it was like, holy crap, this guy can go.
Right. I mean, at the time, because he was no longer wrestling under a mask, so I had no way of knowing that I had actually seen this guy perform, previously.
Right.
On CMLL and Triplemania, even New Japan Pro Wrestling as Lasama. So I mean, I didn't realize it was the same guy until, we got further on, and they actually showcased what he would do.
But hey, guys, check out our show on Monday. We're going to talk a lot about Dynamite, and the direction of AEW lately has been phenomenal. I know a few months ago Shane had this wrestling malaise, and it was shortly after that where Dynamite kind of kicked a second gear, and they have been phenomenal with everything they've done since then. And then we got that big show tonight. Take time out of your day to watch a free major promotion's biggest pay-per-view, because it is something rare, something special, and hopefully you can get time to watch that.
Yeah, just like 2019. I mean, last year everything was kind of shut down, but just like in 2019, we're headed towards this incredible, like right between SummerSlam and Labor Day, where we've got tons of wrestling shows coming up. So this is kind of like the start of that avalanche, right?
And it is the golden age of wrestling. I don't care what anyone says. I'm loving every company working together, and except for one, but all these major companies working together and just crossover storylines, and it's a really fun time to be a wrestling fan right now.
Absolutely. I can't think of any better way to end the show. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Enjoy the show tonight. This is Shane saying long days, pleasant nights, and Jeff saying
goodbye.